I'm a little nervous to ask, but have you seen Netflix's Extraordinary Attorney Woo? Yeah, watched it on my COVID vacation. So in terms of autistic representation, do you think it's... First, let me say that I love K-dramas, and this show has some of my favorite actors, and I was super pumped to check it out. And I'm always a little nervous with autistic representation because a lot of times it can be traumatic. And... I know there are some really great things about this show. Many moments made me want to shout, yes! But just like so many other Netflix shows with autistic representation, a lot of it is stereotypical, problematic, and even outright ableist. Oof, so what was your first red flag? I could tell within the first 30 seconds that the lead actor wasn't autistic. Now, I thought the actor did a phenomenal job acting autistic, but as an autistic myself, it was instantly recognizable as a neurotypical doing inverted masking as autistic. Invert masking, that's funny, but also kind of wrong. It's very wrong, but let's say that her performance was absolutely exact, a perfect representation of autism. Would that make it okay not to hire an autistic actor? The industry already actively discriminates against autistic people, both in front of and behind camera. Some of this discrimination is overt, but a lot of it is also built into the very frameworks of how shows are greenlit, how the very industry processes for pitching, casting, etc. are handled. Work hours, expectations, lack of accommodations, all that stuff. I know from experience, and I'm high masking. But maybe they're casting a big star to try to get more viewership. That's the usual excuse, but could you imagine a studio casting this way with any other minority group? And they used to. We need allies that can help us be as loud about this as Hollywood whitewashing. Yes, it needs to be a universal rule for studios that if a show has an autistic character, you cast an autistic actor. This fits into our nothing about us without us mantra. There may be some rare situations where casting a non-disabled actor in a disabled role might be necessary, but this wasn't it. It basically communicates that Netflix believes that autistic people are not capable enough to be actors even when we are portraying our own autism. Yeah, and aren't there a bunch of famous autistic actors? Daryl Hannah, Anthony Hopkins, Dan Aykroyd, Wentworth Miller. Wow, thinking of it that way is like pretty absurd that a show would claim to have the intention of elevating autistic voices and then refuse to let an autistic character be played by an autistic actor. Doesn't that imply that they believe a non-autistic actor is better at portraying autism than an autistic actor? And if they don't hire autistic writers, directors, and producers to make these shows, it says that they don't believe we're capable of that either. Now, sometimes this is challenging because a writer or a director who isn't autistic may be the one pitching the show. But it is then the studio's responsibility to make sure that the autistic people are hired into the other key positions. I mean, like, could you imagine if I pitched a show to Netflix that centered around, say, Korean culture, and then no one on the production team, nor the actors who play the Korean characters were actually Korean? So how do we get Netflix to change? I haven't found direct contact information yet, but we can tag Netflix in the comments and I guess hashtag Verna Myers, who is the vice president of their inclusion strategy. She's amazing, so don't attack her, but we want to start a conversation with Netflix to get these kinds of things addressed. Wow, we haven't even gotten into the show yet. What's your next red flag?